our timeline, dating back to 1990 to current, all the exhibitions and parties and craziness that we've had since then.
Have you been around since 1990?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like a lot of people.
Like before Project Powerhouses.
A lot of people know of us from maybe 2000 and up.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that we've been having exhibitions and crazy parties and whatnot.
Have you always had this space?
No, we've only been in this space, I think, since like 2004.
Okay, and you...
No, actually, 2006.
And did you start it from the beginning, or was it like a collective of...
I started it back in 1990 with a friend of mine. He used to be my partner in crime. And,
literally?
Yeah, literally. And started in 1990, and since then, Aerosol Warefare has grown to be like 12 members deep, and people have kind of come and gone.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I've been the...
That's incredible. You're
Yeah.
so young. You've been since 1990.
Well, I mean, I got into graffiti when I was like 12. You know, it was 1983, 84, and...
Yeah.
By 1990, I had to figure out what I'm going to do with the rest of my life, and this was the only thing that I had kind of going for me.
Yeah.
And so I decided to figure out how to make this happen.
Yeah.
So our timeline, this is really just the top layer. This is the cusp of it, because for everything that's on the wall, there's so much more that goes with it. Photography, video, other kind of archival things. And I'm like a natural pack rat, and so I really keep just things that documentation type things. So I'm a documenting pack rat. Right. And when I first got into this, this is before the internet, and so trying to find more information about graffiti and what I was doing, I ended up having to write a lot of letters. And I went to the library, did some research, try to find just anything I could. And so long story short, throughout like the 10 years that I got into it in the beginning, I started to create these really cool pen pal relationships with people all around the world. And this is just a small sample of all the handwritten letters that I've gotten. I've kept every correspondence. And what's cool about, like, when I was doing this, I kept all my things because I knew that it wasn't for me and it wasn't for now, it was for future. So even now, like, we put this up just so people get an idea of what we've done, but I think it's going to be more important in like 20 years, 30 years when people are doing research that this material is available to them.
Yeah.
And so after this stuff comes down, like I have tubs of archival material. Everything's going to get scanned. All the letters, like all the envelopes, have the original letter inside of them. If I was trading, photographs or stickers, that content's still in the envelope. And so I eventually want to be able to archive everything so that you can do research and find a letter or the envelope with the letter inside, all digital, and then I have like archives and archives of footage. So hopefully that'll also be digitized and available for public use. So that's the goal.
Yeah, that's a big project. We have the same challenge. We just have big like bins full of stuff, but no.
And I was like, nah, that's not me. And she said, no, because like I'm here every day, and I get kids that come in all the time, everything from 12 to 20, and they bring their sketchbooks, their black books, and their photographs of the stuff they do on the street. And she said, they come in all the time, and I see you kind of critiquing their work and talking to them about what's going on. And she was, I've heard you say the same things over and over. She goes, you should teach. And I was like, no, that's not really what I want to do, and I'm not really interested in that. And she was very persistent. So I kind of threw her crazy and said, look, if you want to organize it, I'll do it, because I'm not very organized. And I figured I'd put her on this challenge that would never, materialize. And about a month later, she says, here you go. I said, what's this? She said, this is your roster. This is your first class. You got 10 students showing up on Saturday. I'm like, oh, man. And
really?
So I was like, okay, well, then here goes nothing. And so then we had the first class. And, I've always heard teachers say that teaching is a rewarding experience. And I always thought that was a bunch of crap that they would tell students to make themselves feel better about what they were doing. And but sure enough, like after the first class was over, and I saw that the students who had never done anything like this before were able to draw something that was very like, wow, that's graffiti. It was really cool to know that I was able to kind of translate what's in my head and be able to put it in a way where they can kind of digest it and regurgitate it. And after that, I was like, this is awesome. And so since then, we've been holding classes. We hold what we call a Graffiti 101 class, which is a basic drawing class. It's like whether you draw already or you have never drawn before, you can come in this class, and by the end of the course, you'll be able to draw graffiti style or urban style lettering. Then we have spray paint techniques where we actually teach you how to use spray paint, because it's one thing to be able to draw something, it's another to be able to paint. Two totally different things. You can be really good in a book, but once you get on the wall, you just totally suck. And so we try to bridge that gap so people can be confident.
And are there some people that are the opposite, where they don't draw so well, but they're actually really
Yeah, there's
great?
some people that can take a spray can and be able to design artwork kind of freestyle and look really cool, but then when they try to put it on paper, you know, it's just a totally different thing. So so we do that. We have workshops where we try to, we show how to cut stencils, how to create stencils, multi-layer stencils. We also do a slideshow with the historical aspect of graffiti in general. We do a historical aspect of us in general, and then we also do one of me personally, kind of my story from where I started in 1984 and how I kind of went along life and ended up in this space doing what I do now. So we try to cover a lot of bases, and we've taught everything from elementary, secondary, primary, high school, college. So we've kind of covered all kind of levels of academic. And I'm like, you know, have you never left Houston? Because there's other cities that have it way worse than we do. You can drive 2 hours southeast or southwest from here, and the capital city, Austin, has way more graffiti going on. San Antonio, which is another 2.5 hours south from here, everywhere. So you look around here, and it's like, I don't know where your problem is, because there's a lot of blank walls. It could be a lot worse. And but you know, we try to work with the city. We've kind of had a crazy relationship where we're offering what we do, and they like to come down on us and say, well, you need to tell all your friends to stop doing it. And I'm like, well, that's not my job. I'm nobody's parent. But we have come to a happy medium where we're kind of the face of street art for Houston. We're the advocates, and we're also the ambassadors. And so fortunately, we've been able to have a good working relationship with the city. And just recently, we finished a 20,000 square foot mural at the Houston Public Library. It's the main campus. So they have an underground parking garage, and we did the entire parking garage, which is really cool. But I think the city in general, I don't think the problem is as bad as they make it appear. No. Because I'm sure where you come from, you probably see way more graffiti and street art than you've seen while you've been in town. But I think more and more with, you know, films like Exit Through the Gift Shop, there's a lot more coming out that show kind of more aspects of more than just the dirty, grimy, illegal activity, and that's helping to kind of put a new face on street art, and it's a little more accepted. We actually just came out with a documentary called Stick 'Em Up. This other guy, Alex Luster, he actually put it together, but we co-produced the film, and we kind of helped. We were the liaison between the production team making the film and the street artists, because we kind of gave it the credibility on both sides. Like we told these guys, this guy's cool, don't worry about him filming you. And then we told him, look, these are the guys you want to talk to. And so,
sorry, go on.
This is for Cheer 2000. That's Ram LZ. That guy just died. But these guys are like, this should be in this book. This book just came out. It's called the History of American Graffiti. One of my goals in life was to be printed in a book. I never would have thought there was going to be a graffiti history book, period. That was just so unheard of. So I just thought it'd be awesome to be printed in any book. So the fact that I was printed in this book, The History of American Graffiti, to me makes the last 25 years of my life valid. But for sure it should be in here somewhere.